Thank you everyone for joining us from wherever you are in the world. Please type in the chat box where you're tuning in from. We always like to know where everyone's coming in from in this beautiful world of ours. We have such an exciting call this evening. Two incredible guests, and I am honored to introduce them. And these are very, very special people. But what I love is that they're my business partners, and we get to work together, bringing this incredible technology to the world. It's an incredibly exciting business to be a part of, and an incredibly exciting product. From India, from Mexico, from Liverpool, from UK, from America, from LA. This is very much an international call. So we appreciate you all jumping on and taking part and finding out a little bit more about this magic drink. And from Australia, here we go, Mr. Joe Rogister from Australia, from France. Oh, hello. So first of all, without further ado, I want to introduce someone who I've really appreciated getting to know since she has joined our incredible business. Chandanni is an Ayurvedic practitioner and all-round health and wellness expert and guru. She is a yoga instructor. She has spent her entire career uplifting people. She has an incredible product range, Chandanni, and I'm so excited that she sees the vision in what we're doing. And I just love to introduce you to everyone on this call. Welcome, Chandanni. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone around the world joining in. I know it's very late in India. I'm not quite sure what time it is in Australia. I know in Europe it's the evening. In America, it's the middle of our day. So welcome, everyone. One of the most fascinating things about this experience, and I've only been in it for literally 3 weeks, is that I've felt more momentum, more love, more energy, more unity than I have in the 20 years that I've been practicing, learning, teaching, promoting, and encouraging health and wellness in the world. And I am completely besides myself that in less than a month, I've been able to happen upon a company and a product that is actually taking the world by storm. And if there's any indication of that, it is right now on this call today, that we just with a couple of invites have been able to get people from all corners of the world to come on and speak about, to learn about what we need to do urgently and very, very quickly, economically, psychologically, emotionally, and health-wise, to uplift our own lives and the lives of others. And it's an absolute gift from the universe. It's a gift of spending a lifetime devoted to health and wellness and believing in the absolute foundation of any real revolution happening in the world for the betterment of society to be rooted in health and wellness, not just for the few, but for all people. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my colleague and my business partner, Joe Rogister, who is a nutritional expert and a clinician in that field, who is an expert in sports nutrition and also in wellness in general, and also in the ketogenic space. And he has been with the company, which is only my company's 5 years old, and we started it from scratch, and we have never raised any money, just like this company, Prove It. But Prove It in 5 years has been able to achieve what many of us have tried to achieve, because they formulated something that we can all understand and utilize. So I would like for Joe to come on and just give an introduction to your experience in this very exciting journey that we are all proud to be part of. Joe Rogister.
Hi, Chandanni. How are you?
I'm well. I'm so excited for everything.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's great to see everybody from all over. Who's from Toronto? That's my hometown, or almost my hometown. From London, Ontario originally, but I came a long way over to Australia about 8 years ago, and that was when I started learning about nutrition. My wife moved over here for her work, so I had a chance to, sort of reinvent myself. And I had a big slide in my own health and wellness. And so in climbing back from that at 35 years old, I discovered a lot of things that I did not like about the nutrition world and supplement world. And that led me down a path of discovery, I guess, towards, to real health and how to get myself back. And in that, I discovered that, there was a lot of mistruths, a lot of misguided information that we had been given from the nutrition supplement world, the diet world, if you will. And I got very passionate about making sure that everybody knew about this misinformation. And so that was kind of my career, and that led me to, at some point, somebody saying to me, "What do you know about ketones and ketosis?" And that was, at the time, I didn't think much of the keto diet. And I had no idea, just like the rest of the world, what drinkable ketones were, because there was never a drinkable ketone before 2015. And that started, 4 years of learning from the best scientists in the world that this is very much more than a fad diet. And that utilizing this, what this is, we can bring communities together all over the world. And it really is this truly unique thing that the planet's never seen before, the nutrition world's never seen before, but it is the most effective tool that I've ever come across at helping people move towards real long-term health.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting because for me, as an Ayurvedic practitioner and somebody that's been in wellness for years and has come across so many supplements and formulated many of my own, was a firm disbeliever that you could drink something mixed in water and it would have such an impact in such a short amount of time. Seeing is really believing that this formula is able to catalyze metabolic ketosis in such a short amount of time. Can you comment on that in a very simple way, how this can happen with anyone that takes it?
Yeah, for sure. What ketosis is it when we completely deplete our primary fuel source, what's become our primary fuel source in this world, which is carbohydrates, out of our diet. Then what happens is our body needs to switch to a different fuel source. Our bodies are these incredible survival machines. And so in that survival mechanism, it starts to convert something that it has very readily available into another energy source. And that energy source, or that thing that it has readily available, either through our diet or through on our bodies, is fat. And so we convert fatty acids into an energy molecule. And that energy molecule is called a ketone, very as simply as that. And that energy molecule, though, is 30% more efficient than a carbohydrate. And it doesn't need insulin in order to energize our bodies. It doesn't need insulin to energize our brains. And it's also this signaling molecule for all sorts of cellular communication around our body, like hormonal balancing, how our brain even functions in order to produce pleasure chemicals, right? Like serotonin and dopamine. And it helps, this is kind of sciencey, but it works with everybody would have heard the term GABA in terms of sleep. But our GABA to glutamate ratio in our brain is really very much effective of how our moods are and how we feel, and even like is related to stress and anxiety, how we deal with that, right up to full-blown depression and mental wellness challenges. And this little molecule, this energy molecule, works with all of that. So what they did is, back to the scientist nerds, that they basically took a look at this ketone molecule and thought, man, we got to get this into people, but we got to do it without the thing that doesn't make logistical sense. And this was actually, done for the soldiers. The U.S. military, gave 10 million pounds for this research on it in order to make super soldiers. And so that research resulted in the isolation of the ketone molecule. It's called beta hydroxybutyrate. You'll start to hear about that more and more. You'll hear BHB all the time. And this BHB is bioidentical. The one that's at least in our the products that we're working with is bioidentical to the one that our body produces. So now, instead of your liver producing ketones, you can drink a delicious beverage with ketones. Normally, to get your liver to do it, it takes 3 days to a week of getting rid of all the foods that you love, basically, some of us, but following a restrictive diet to get our body to switch back to that fueling system. And now we can drink it, and in an hour, we've raised our ketone levels, and we have these ketones available to use for just about every one of our bodily functions.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. We in Ayurveda, which is the natural healing science of India, which I'm a practitioner of, we say that the liver is the master organ, right? It's the queen organ of the system. And we say when the queen is happy, the kingdom flourishes. So there's this yin yang happening in the world and also within our bodies. And as Joe was saying, our liver cleanse, which is amazing. It's an amazing product, and we administer it all over the world. However, it's 2 weeks long, and you need to refrain from meat, wheat, dairy, processed foods, processed sugars, alcohol, caffeine, all these ingredients that are acidic and sort of toxic for the liver to break down in a way, even tomatoes. You have to refrain from those things. And then within 4, 5, 6, 7 days, you start to move into this ketosis. You start to rid the body of inflammation, of toxins, and you start to have this rejuvenative feeling, not only emotionally, but physically. And it's an anti-aging. We can't clinically yet define that because we don't have trials on it. I don't know, maybe you guys do, but it is anti-aging because you're resting the liver, you're alkalizing the bloodstream, you're ridding the body of acid, and you're rejuvenating all the systems of the body into a more youthful, restful state. So in order for us to have a drink in our hands today that has been cultivated by top scientists through human ingenuity, which is what we are. It's what separates us from the animal kingdom, that we can self-reflect, we can create, we can innovate. We have this disruptive product that is accessible to all of us, and it's so exciting for me, not just as a business opportunity, because I feel that money is an energy source that we need to be able to change the world with. But that coupled with a disruptive product that is accessible and in demand for absolutely every single human being of every age group, of every culture, is unprecedented. And the fact that we get to come together internationally, we are all onto something really revolutionary, very, very exciting. Joe, I want you to talk about the business side coupled with the revolution of nutrition, as far as changing the planet, and how you strategically have created this international momentum that is just expanding and is just taking over.
Yeah, well, look, it's been an exciting ride, right? When I saw the company, they were 9 months old, and they'd done about $30 million in sales, which I thought was impressive. But there wasn't nobody knew what exogenous ketones were. And even the keto diet wasn't, really come into big prevalence, and there was so much resistance towards it. So that's why it's so impressive what Prove It did. When ketones were patented by the University of South Florida, from that U.S. military research, nobody wanted to buy the patent. The nutrition world didn't understand it. It was too expensive. Right? It worked with too many things. So instead of, paying doctors and celebrities to endorse their product, they simply teamed with all of the top research facilities, all these scientific health and wellness professionals that had been already, the ones that knew this long before we did, the people that knew that the keto diet wasn't a fad diet, that it was exactly what you're talking about, those people started to get very excited. So they became the educators. And through that education, they created an education portal, which is now, available to anybody for free, called ProveIt.tv. You can just access that online, and is one of the largest centers for education on ketones, ketosis, and just moving towards a diet with less sugar, less processed food, and more fresh live food, right? But with also the knowledge of healthy fats and how it can be this better energy source. But with this, nobody needs to change their diet. We just need to make moves towards a healthier lifestyle to really maximize it. So, so that simplicity and the fact that they didn't try to sell anybody anything. They just educated people on a better fuel source for their body. That's what I really saw 4 years ago, and what we knew was going to go very, very big before anybody else really knew it. Was that they were really not forcing anything down anybody's throat. And the world doesn't want to be sold to anymore. We've been sold to for years, and most of it's been BS. And so now we just want to be shown the information and allow us to decide for ourselves. And so that platform, that's community-based marketing, they went out to the world with. And I think that it was the right product at the right time with the right way of bringing it to the people that made it take off so much. And now the practitioners like you and probably so many other that are on this call right now see that. And we very skeptically, this is what I did, try it. And then when we try it and then look at what it does for all these different areas of health and wellness and all these things, are the effect that it has on all the things that hold people back, right? Then we get very excited about it as well. And that's why this global community is growing, and it's practitioners locking arms with people that don't know anything about nutrition, but want to feel good and want other people to feel good and be able to do the things that they love for a really, really long time, and also don't want to be misinformed anymore. Right? So we're all joining together. So that's the business model, right? It's, anybody with any background can come into this and share ketones and go from making, free ketones to turning this into a part-time income. That's how I started. I had another, business that I was working with, and I was a full-time, nutritional therapist and working with another supplement line, to moving into this. And then a year later, my wife retired from medical equipment sales training and came to do this with us. And now we, basically help people all over the world be able to have the same entrepreneurial opportunity.
It's fantastic. The urgency of integrated wellness has reached its peak, obviously, with the health pandemic plaguing the world, the economic pandemic plaguing the world. So we've all been pushed to a corner globally, and it is the right time. I, for one, am very happy in that regard, that the priority for health and wellness is now just undeniable for us all, no matter who we are, and that we can congregate together in a very simple, non-dogmatic, efficient, modern, sexy way. It's sexy to be able to mix something. Nobody could ever believe it. I can't even believe I say this to people. Oh, don't worry about it. Just drink it. Just drink it. Can you imagine an Ayurvedic practitioner without even saying anything other than just mix it and drink it? It's revolutionary and it's timely. It's something that none of us should miss the opportunity to at least try. This is how committed I am to the product itself, which is what is paving the way towards this wellness revolution in this modern space. I wanted to ask you, if somebody, when we do our liver cleanse, we have to administer a protocol to support people through going through a valley of detoxification, especially for somebody who's never detoxed before, especially for somebody who's never addressed this kind of metabolism so consciously before, because the product is very superior and very strong. So what happens a lot of time emotionally and physically, the body goes through some discomfort initially. And I know that we've spoken on cutting down the doses. Can you speak about that, about the discomfort, about how to take the product and how you can optimize it as quickly as possible in your lifestyle and regimen?
Yeah, absolutely. The great thing and why, we can have this incredible community of people that are sharing this out is that there's no contraindications with any medications. And it's, normally if you've got something that can help, people with their energy, focus, fat loss, mood and sleep, all these pillars of health, we're used to pulling something out of a box and unfolding the massive paper of instructions and side effects and all the things that come along with that pharmaceutical pill. But this is something that all you got to do is ease into it, because ketones can be a very powerful thing. And so we have people start on a half sachet and make sure that they're feeling fantastic. If people, have stomach sensitivities or or any type of digestive issues or anything, they take things and they react to it quickly, then that can sometimes be a good thing. And so we start them on a quarter of a sachet and then ease them up into it over a couple of days. And then other than that, all people really have to do with this product to maximize it is, first off, make sure you're drinking enough water. And I mean, most of most of the people that in the world are underhydrated, right? So look up a good hydration calculator online, and it'll tell you how much you should be drinking. If you're in a hot place, drink more. If you work out, drink more. And then another thing that most humans are is under mineralized. Right, unfortunately. So maybe including an eighth of a teaspoon of Himalayan crystal salt or an electrolyte formula. Prove It also has a good one of those, but is really all that they need to do. And then, then start listening to your body. Right. That's the great thing about this is people don't have to change anything, but when you start on ketones, if you don't feel like eating crap, don't do it. Right? If you feel satiated during a meal sooner than you normally would, then don't feel like you have to finish your plate. I grew up with 6 or 5 brothers and sisters, and so I was very in tune to finish your meal. Right. And that's just something that we were trained and how sometimes affects people's relationship with food. You don't have to keep eating. So that's what the ketones normally help us really get in tune with that our satiation and our feelings of hunger. And that's really it to start. Right. And then the great thing about it is, like you said, everybody is different. Everybody's going to react different ways. And so we've got this incredible community of coaches and experts and therapists and wellness advisors that are all there to not treat somebody like there's one cookie cutter way to path towards success, to acknowledge that everybody is different. We've all got different hormones. We're all at a different phase in our hormones, and that needs to be addressed. So, the community will be here for anybody that ever takes ketones or doesn't, and just wants to learn about ways that they can optimize their health.
Can you just comment just with the usage of the product? There have been some people that obviously everybody feels better when they lose weight if they have excess weight. And part of metabolic ketosis is to pull impurities and toxins from the system, starting in the liver, that the byproduct is losing excess fat. Can you speak about the people? I don't own a scale, and I tell everyone, I tell all my clients, anyone, if you have a scale, throw it out the window. It's of no use to you. However, there are those of us who like the scale in the home, and once they've been on this, they look on the scale and nothing seems to shift. I've sent them that whoosh diagram. Can you explain that in very simple terms? What's going on that they're doing this? They're losing weight, but nothing changes on the scale.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off is people like, this does not burn fat off your body. It actually doesn't start your body using its own fat for fuel. It helps you with the adaptation to doing that. If you're, moving towards a keto diet, it's like the perfect thing to help people if they want to move towards a keto diet. However, it doesn't make you magically or change your physiological processes to do that. So in order to lose weight, people need to go into a caloric deficit or an energy deficit. That's the only way we lose weight, by the way. Don't listen to anybody tell you any different, really. We go into a caloric deficit or we raise our activity level, our energy expenditure, or ideally we do a combination of both, right? Reduce what we're eating and move our bodies more. And that's how we lose weight. So when we do that, though, when we've got ketones in our body, we can oftentimes feel much easier to reduce our caloric intake and still be energized, right? Still feel great, not feel like crap like you normally do on a diet, right? Because you're under energized. And also we have more energy to move our bodies more. So it can be a great combination for people that want to do that. And when they do that, they can start to drop, if you can move to this energy deficit, you can start to drop fat very quickly. And when you do drop fat very quickly, instead of, you've got these fat cells which are opening up and now they're filling up with water. So you're actually, that's where the scale can be a liar, right? A big liar. And your fat cells fill up with water, and eventually, and that's what the water whoosh is. Eventually, at some point, they just go, screw it. And it goes, and it all comes out. And so basically you drop that water weight that you might be holding on to at the start. And that can be for any period of time. Again, we're all different. And then you can be getting very frustrated if you're standing on that scale every day and not losing anything. And then, it just goes. The other thing is that oftentimes if people are exercising, they'll actually start to put on muscle mass because, and guys out there, guys and girls that want to put on muscle mass, ketones in your body are excellent for not only muscle preservation, but for protein synthesis in every way. So for guys that want to pack on some weight, or for women that want to get more lean muscle, you actually put on lean muscle doing the same stuff that you're doing before. So oftentimes we might gain muscle mass while losing fat, and muscle mass is much heavier for very small amounts of muscle than fat is. So combination of all those things, you're exactly right. Get rid of that scale, but I know it's a tough thing to do.
So in Ayurveda, I keep bringing my background into it because it's so aligned with this beautiful revolutionary technology of the ketones with Prove It, that in Ayurveda, we have this term rasayana, which means the path of longevity. And we dedicate life to the path of longevity, radiant body, radiant mind. This practice of drinking the ketones in a very modern, efficient way is sort of catapulting us to rasayana, to living our life, radiant body, radiant mind. It is changing the chemistry of how we feel about our selves, physically, psychologically, in light speed. There's no more, in some practices of yoga and hatha yoga, to truly master hatha yoga, they say 23 years of a diligent practice in order to master the asana practice of hatha yoga. 23 years, maybe 5,000 years ago, that seemed affordable. But in today's world, we need something as quick as the send button. And this is the ticket. So before we end today, I just wanted you to share what you think we should do as members of this wellness revolution to maximize on adoption, enrollment, expansion, and utilization of the product and of our sales teams.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, it is now, $1 billion in sales in less than 5 years. The fastest growing nutrition company, the fastest growing bio-nutrition company, and more of a lifestyle brand that the world's ever seen. And they've just started with their international expansion. It's just a baby really in the United States because people are just discovering what this is, right? There's this evolutionary process where people first think you're crazy, right? The world didn't accept exogenous ketones. The health and wellness world had a very tough time accepting exogenous ketones when they first came out on the market. And now they're having a very tough time not accepting it. And this is why everybody's moving towards it. So there's something called a tipping point where it gets to a point where all the naysayers go away, where the skeptics go away, because there's so much evidence. There's so much anecdotal and empirical evidence out there that it's just like it becomes the norm. And that's what we're seeing with BHB. Right. And so as long as you in business, switching back to my business hat on, besides my excitement for what this is going to do for the planet and changing the way people fuel themselves and also the way that the world has the knowledge about how to fuel themselves, from a business standpoint, you want to be involved before that tipping point. And if you can, and if you're passionate about, helping other people, then this can be that worthwhile pursuit. This can be that combination of something that challenges you, something that gives back to the world, but something that also is the right opportunity at the right timing, which is critically important for anybody looking at a business venture with a massive emerging market, right? And a widespread appeal to a huge amount of demographics. So what people should do is get this into their bodies first off. So it becomes not about what we're saying, but what they're feeling. Right? And then do all the research you want. We'll point you in the right direction. We've done 4 years of it, and thousands of hours of podcasts and research and all this kind of stuff. And then if somebody is saying, okay, yes, this can better the world, this can better my life, and this can better other people's lives, and this is worth sharing with people, then team up with us and become a part of the community of people that are just consumers looking after other consumers. And then no matter what your background is, it doesn't matter, because if you're not a practitioner, we got them. We got them validating the product for us all the time, so we don't have to be experts if we're not experts in nutrition. And come on board. And that's what this whole thing is all about: creating people leverage passive income streams for something that strengthens the body and the mind. So with everything going on in the world, forget about this virus, right? The epidemics that were going on behind this virus would have crippled our healthcare systems anyways, unless we do something to change. And I don't think there's been something that's more powerful to help people change than this.
It's fantastic. For the first time I give my age away because I'm like ageless Chandanni. 15, 20 years of happening upon yoga, and then discovering Ayurveda, and then, starting our company, which is amazing. I love chandanni.com. Thank you for all your lessons and pushing the boulder up the hill. And now to be in the company of such seasoned, loving, beautiful directors, executives, community members, practitioners, just people from all over the world, I feel like I just won the lottery personally. And secondly, to say that whoever invited you to this call is your person, and that person has invited you to this call not for a singular reason. They didn't do it just for your health. They didn't do it just for business. They did it for everything. This is an all-encompassing opportunity that we are so lucky to be in together. And there's power in numbers. If we don't know anything, we know that now, that there's power in numbers. And true unity means power in numbers. So let's come together. Let's learn from each other. Let's support one another. And let's heal this world together as a true unified collective, because we do have that at our disposal, and we can make a lot of money, and we can have so much fun, and we can be ageless and beautiful and age gracefully and be healthy and show our kids want to grow up and say, I want to be like him. I want to be like her. We need new role models in our world. And the wellness warriors of our world are the future role models. So this is what we're cultivating and creating very, very quickly, like on a speed rocket ship. And that's the most exciting thing of all. So whoever invited you, call that person. There's so much support in this company. I've been in it for 3 weeks. I've never had so much support in my life, in any venue, in any venture. So get on that call, speak to your people, and whoever brought the most people to this call is going to get our Queen Bee formula, Facebook, wherever you are in the world. We're going to ship it to you. And let's just join forces, hold hands, and let's just make dreams come true. Let's go for it. Do you want to say anything before we end today, Joe or Grace or Jordan?
I think it'd be ridiculous to say anything after that.
We appreciate you. Thank you both so much for jumping on the call. Thank you to everyone that has taken time tonight out to learn more. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.